Well, Kevin Stefanski met with me today after practice, trying to explain how to use the time off to get things headed in the right direction for this Browns team to improve.
The bye week's important to reframe and look at where you are as a team and spend some time on each one of those levels. So we spent some time as a team this morning talking about where we are, things that we want to do better, and then I think then you break up and you do that from the offensive, defensive, special teams level. You break into positions. You really go back to each player and say, all right, here's some things you're doing well. Here are some things that we need to do better. And I think if you have that mindset of each part of this team is going to try to do their job and do their job a little bit better, I think that's where improvement comes from.
And Scott, they need it in the next 3 weeks. I mean, it's like you're cramming for that final, and then just by the nature of the upgrade at quarterback, you should see some improvement.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to – this isn't to say Jacoby Brissett hasn't played well, because he's given him a chance to win every game but that New England game, and that wasn't just his fault. Nobody played well that day. But you would expect a boost with Deshaun Watson, and it's also like a schedule factor. The next few games look like they're hard, and Miami's 6-3, right? We know how good Buffalo is, even though they lost yesterday. And then you have Tampa Bay who's struggling but still have Tom Brady. And then you get the final part of the schedule, which doesn't seem as hard. So, obviously Watson is a demarcation factor. But even if the Browns, even if it was just going to be Jacoby Brissett's show, you'd say, okay, well, they need to win X number of the next whatever games. And as it turns out, I think out of these next 3, they need to win 2 of them. Like, that gets you to 5-6, and that feels reasonable to ask Deshaun Watson to go from 5-6 to either 9-8 or 10-7, whatever it's going to take to get in the playoffs. Like, that number seems doable to me. 4-7, you're not out of it, but that's such a big stretch. He could do no worse than 5-1, and might even have to go 6-0, and that's just asking a lot of anybody.
Yeah, I would agree.